Welcome to the Uplevel Dairy Podcast. This is the podcast for dairy producers and professionals who are committed to moving our industry forward. I'm Peggy, and each week we bring you the leaders, the lessons, and real-world stories from the people who have built the dairy business we know today and those who are shaping its future. Join us on the journey by following Uplevel Dairy on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and subscribe at upleveldairy.com to get new episodes and our Dairy Insights blogs right in your inbox. Faith, family, and farming. Our guest today lives by those values, and as a first-generation Dutch immigrant, this Northwest dairyman believes that when it comes to being a top-performing herd, it truly is the little things that make a difference, including the insights he gains from technology, at home on his 1,300-cow dairy and 150 miles away at his heifer ranch. Marinus Noordam joins us today from Mount Angel, Oregon, to share his story and what he believes it takes to be a top-tier dairy. This episode is part of the High Performance Mindset series powered by Nedap. Nedap is future-proofing dairy farming with smart technologies and activity monitoring, cow locating, milk metering, sort gates, and AI-powered camera systems. Nedap is improving life on the farm by putting the right cow in the right place at the right time, every time.
So I was born in the Netherlands, but my mom immigrated after the Second World War with her family. They had a bakery in Friesland, and they paid a lot of taxes, and the country was, kaput, and a lot of people were leaving. And they had some family here, and somehow they ended up in the Bellflower, Artesia area in the 50s. A dairy must have been a beautiful place to dairy back then, and it's all gone now. It's all houses and highways. And then she moved up north, and my uncle milked cows up north, and my grandparents went with them, my pa and beppe. And there she met my dad, who was in his 40s, and I think he was renting a farm and milking cows, and he decided to go back to the Netherlands. So then he met my mom, they got married, moved back, and they raised a family. So some of the family of my mom's side lived in the United States. When I was born, I was a U.S. citizen born abroad. So that made it very, very easy for me to get back. It was a good thing they did that. And that was an unforeseen, wow, yeah. And later on they talked about that, and they thought, man, if one of the kids wanted to go back, this is what we should do. And they did, and I'm thankful they did. So we came here for family reunions, in the early 90s, and we had a ball here at my uncle's farm. I mean, wide open spaces, and that I just loved it here. My uncle invited me. He says, hey, why don't you come and take a look? And that's what we did. I told my wife, I says, hey, let's try it. We can always go back if it doesn't work out. And I worked for him for 2 years.
That's an awesome story. And I'm glad that you shared that background behind it too. To me, it's always interesting to just look back sometimes and look at the way that, and I know you're a man of faith, so you'll understand this too. Look at the way that God just put people in your path, and it lined up and it opened up to where you are now. It's so neat. And he gave you a community. Even though you didn't have blood family, he gave that to you right where you're at.
Some of the hardest things, that's when we got here, was definitely being away from family. The Dutch culture. I don't know if you heard of the word gezelligheid. We like to visit at night, and it's all very close. And being without family was hard. You don't know where things are going. You don't have any real plan, really. We found a good church where we right away were well received, and there were a lot of Dutch immigrants there. And we went to church with a man by the name of Ari Jongeneel, and got to know him. And he had a business partner who I was friends with, and he decided to build new in South Dakota, which he did 20 years ago. And I thought, man, you're nuts. You're crazy. But they built a beautiful farm there, and it worked out well for them. And Ari gave me an opportunity to work for him. And then if things would work out, he would work me and Tim in. And that's what he did. And Tim is his stepson. So that's how we got connected. And it's very helpful if you can support one another. You know what I mean? If you don't have to call a mechanic or an electrician, or because stuff breaks all the time at the farm. So it's kind of nice if you can keep that all in house. We were working for him and he made us both partners. And I think when he turned 70, he sold the business to us. And then we rented a place for 10 years. And after that, he sold us the place. So that's kind of how I got here. You probably understand this, but you can have a job and not like it. Just being a job. You cannot be a dairy farmer and not love it, because the door doesn't close at 5 o'clock. I mean, it's Saturday, Sunday, it's all the time. You can't get away from it. So it has to be your passion to really take care of your animals. I like to say AJ Dairy, where our cows are not just a number. You know what I mean? We like to care for our animals and set them up for success. And it's more fun if you take care of them the right way. And it's amazing what these animals do, really, if you look at it. What they give on what they produce on a daily basis. They give us great products.
As you talk about helping the cows be successful and the wonder of the dairy cow and what she can do, it reminds me of something that you had shared with me, and that was some wisdom from your father. Do you want to share that about how he looked at what it takes to be successful?
It's not just one big thing. It's the little things that make up the big picture. And I get back to my partnership with Tim is where you don't have to do everything alone. You can share the burden, and he does what he's good at and I do what I'm good at. It's just what are some of those things that you just have to do to set that animal up for success. And we keep a very close eye on our close-up cows. If the calves are born and it's cold, we do put them under a heat lamp. We do feed colostrum immediately. When a fresh cow calves, she right away gets a 5-gallon bucket of a lukewarm, I would call it a drink. You can use it as a drench to replenish that animal with all that weight and fluid she just lost. And there tends to be an intake drop right before they calve. And I've been at places where they drench every fresh cow. We try to do it immediately with a pan, and I would say 9 out of 10 will drink that voluntarily. You're there already anyway. You're busy with the calf, dripping the navel, and it's just a small extra thing that I think has big impact on how you set that animal up for success. We temp our colostrum. So everybody, I mean, we have a lot of calf feeders. So people feed, if you don't know what you're doing, I mean, if you feed colostrum at 110, I mean, you're burning their gut. If there's a sick animal, we try to put calf blankets on them in the winter. Take care of your cows. Watch your dry cows. Have good records. Make sure they have a 60-day dry cow period. Make sure they don't get too fat in the dry cow period. Moving your cows out of the fresh bin on time. When they go into that negative energy balance, you're building a lactation curve, like you throw a baseball. You want it to be a straight line and a little drop off at the end. And nutrition is a big part, not overcrowding. But I would say getting these cows 20 days, 30 days, get them out of there, let them do their job. Another big thing right now with the genomics is make sure you breed your top animals to sac semen and don't replicate your bottom end. Make sure what your top end is and what your bottom end is. Use beef on your bottom end, because that is it's like compound interest. You make a big gain 1 year, but you keep building on that gain you already had. And we're doing things right now that I think people 50, 60, 70 years ago didn't even know that were possible. I almost have 100 pounds of energy corrected milk. And it's like, wow. Watch your lockup time. You say, hey, with the Nedap now, what are you doing different? I mean, we used to lock up cows for this and that. And it's just like, right now, it's just like, hey, we pick out the sick ones and let cows be cows. Cows that are being locked up don't make milk. You know, a cow makes milk when they're laying down and chewing their cud. So I'm big on that. Animal handling, make sure your cows are comfortable with you. And that's an ongoing training with your people too. I mean, in the milking parlor, manage your somatic cells. It's well known that people with low somatic cell count is equals profitability, I would almost say. People that manage their somatic cells do a lot of things right because their cows are healthy. So lame cows, keep an eye on your lame cows. I mean, deal with them immediately. The day you treat them, they either get better, or the day you don't, they get worse, and it ends up being a cold cow. Yeah, and we are two families, but we employ a lot of people who have families too. And yeah, treat your people well, that they can get somewhere. They have a feeling they have to provide for their families too. And those are some of the things that I would say we pay attention to.
Going back to what you shared before about those million little things that add up to the bigger picture, you gave a beautiful bullet pointed list. It reminds me of when I was an editor with Progressive Dairy magazine for a good 10 years of my career. And I feel like I could have just written an article for the magazine on what you just talked about, like top 10 tips for dairy farming.
You used to have to be a really good cow guy. I say cows are talking all the time, and with that I mean they send signals. When they're limping, they're sending a signal. When they're red eyes and they're just looking worried, they're not feeling good. And it's just like you just have to pick up on that. And with the Nedap now, it's a lot easier because it's unbiased and it says, "Hey, I'm not feeling good," and they just show up.
Let's talk about that for a minute, because based on what you shared, I can tell that you would just have a very strong innate cow sense. You are the altruistic cow guy. But as you have more cows, it gets harder to apply that to every cow. And as you have a family, sometimes you want to be somewhere else with them versus with the cows. So talk a little bit about how technology has helped you be able to replicate your own cow sense, even at times when you can't be there.
I talked about my daughter. I mean, nothing gives me more energy than somebody who is interested in, it makes it more fun. She has it on her phone too, and she'll come in and say, "Hey Dad, what about this cow, or what about that?" We usually deal with it. And my wife says, "Do you still need to go outside, or are you done?" And Sunday morning, 10 o'clock, we go to church and the work will be there. And we just try to deal diligently with that list that comes up all the time. But with that list, it is so precise. The amount of time we save by not having our cows locked up and tail chalk all of them. We could just walk to the one or two that needs to be bred, or one needs to be taken out, and we just don't need to lock up cows anymore. So you're talking about a 2-3 hour job in the morning. If there's nothing going on, you're done within a half hour. Sometimes you don't even need to go out. We used to walk out the door. You don't know what you walk into. You just don't know. And now you look on your app and you could just say, "Okay, there's one there, and there's one there." And you plan out the most efficient path, and then you just go at it and it's done. And there is a great satisfaction in a job well done, which makes it efficient. And then when you're done, you go on with your day. A family is very, very important to me. Work is also important to me. So yeah, it's the balance. Balance is a tough thing in life, right? It's just some things all need to happen. And with the Nedap now, I mean, we have good people and we share the workload, and it's actually a joy we do a lot more work in less time, more effectively. It's like we can be there all day and sometimes we still can't miss something, but that system doesn't miss anything.
So that's been a pretty big asset to not just the farm, but really your family life too. It's, of course, helpful right there at the dairy where you are. There's another scenario that it's helpful in for you too, and that's because you have heifers that are 150 miles away. So how has that changed the game there?
So we got the system somewhere in April. I don't know if it's 2 or 3 years ago. We had one guy breeding over there and feeding, and I started to see pretty quick that, guy, this is too good to be true. I think we spent like $600 or $700 a month on paint, and it doesn't miss anything. We don't miss heats, and for a while it went so good that we only had a couple open cows every preg check, and yeah, no missed heats. These were non-cycling cows, and I got a year into that, and I thought this is dumb not to have at the ranch too. So contacted Brian, and we got it installed there too, and it's helped him too. He has plenty of work anyway, so he can be more efficient with his time, but also more accurate in which cows he inseminate. I like to say it again: the system that pulls the cows or the heifers out that are in heat. And sometimes these cows are in heat from 8 o'clock at night till 3 o'clock in the morning when you're not there. And it's just like the system watches them 24/7. And it it made him a better breeder. And the off sync too. We synchronize a lot less cows. One of the things we changed here is we backed off our voluntary waiting period till 80 days. I used to be on a pre-sync off-sync where you start giving Lutalize 45 days, and these cows just cycled. And I bet myself, this is dumb. These cows can do that easily on their own. And now we have that information, we have that data. Like, yep, I cycled at 37 days, and I'm here at 58. And usually when they cycle with 20, 21 days from each other, around 60, 65 days, we do breed them. And yeah, and there's not, if things are clicking right along, there's not very many that make it to 80 days.
That was a game changer as well, to be able to cut back on those shots and just kind of let the cow be a cow, huh?
Right. You do the vet list, you do your off sync list, you do any type of list. You used to be there looking for cows, and where we just put it on the phone and just it made things a lot faster, a lot easier. Information transformation too. I mean, it's the click of a button. Where you used to have these vet lists from Dairy Comp, and you need to put them manually into your Dairy Comp, and now it's just like, hey, update results, and you're done. Technology helped a lot.
You mentioned too that your daughter, who's 15, that she's right there too, checking her phone.
She actually walks with the vet. That's her job. I'm not doing that. She loves it, you see. And so I'm the type of guy, man. I mean, the older have to make room for the younger. And if the younger are willing to step up, you get out of the way. Because dairy farming, my dad says, it's a young man's game. It's intense. It's there all the time. And there's not too many people that want to work that hard anymore, I think.
Do you consider yourself in the young man category or the old man category these days?
Well, can we go for middle-aged?
You're in between. So you're still in the game is what you're saying. You're still in the game.
Yeah. Oh, I still love it. I still love it. But what I'm saying is, if you see young talent, you try to hook them and make them excited about the future. If you see people that are willing to go for it, you give them the tools and try to set them up for success. And the one downside from dairy farming, it takes an enormous amount of capital. It is very hard for young people, if they're not born in the dairy industry, to get going, because the size of the farms only goes up. And with the efficiencies nowadays, you maybe can get into 100, 200 cow dairy. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's a long road. And we were blessed that Ari wanted to give us a chance. And it was 1,000 cow facility, which was a good size for us to get started. And he was willing to loan us the money.
Looking at the future and also the challenges that dairy farmers face right now, when you think about this year, we're in 2026 now, just early on in the year. And this is a year we're heading into with challenges in the milk market. And where you're at specifically in Oregon, you have some challenges that are even more local to your area that are cutting a little bit deeper into the bottom line and into your milk check. Talk a little bit about that for a moment. What's going on in your neck of the woods, and what do you believe you must do differently this year to be at the top of your game?
Dairy farming is like riding a roller coaster. I mean, you have to have that mentality that We were at the top and we are going down, and we're going down fast. We'll hit the bottom, and what goes down goes up again too. So I never look too much at the markets or how that emotionally plays with me, whether I'm positive or negative. I love what I do, and you always have to be the best at what you're doing, whether the milk market is good or bad. But you definitely see people getting out. So you asked what's going on. So we all get our FMFMO pay price, and then we have a Dairy Gold deduct, so that hurts a little for some people, maybe more than others. Yeah, you just have to deal with what you got. But last year, there's a lot of good things that are going for us too. I would say we're getting more than double for our cull cows. You could used to buy a heifer for 12 to 14, $1,500. Right now, I think buying cows for 3,000 or 3,500, I think, is their value. And we're selling some because we have a extra beef on dairy. I mean, are they using sex on their top end and beef on their bottom? That's an extra revenue stream. So your cull cows, your beef feed is relatively cheap for what it used to be. So the reason the milk price is down is because if you put a $25 sign out there for milk, farmers will give you milk. And they did that. So if the US, I am against quota, but if people would say, hey, if we all sell 5% of our cows in the next month, which the beef market could bear, we got to get this milk output number down. But nobody says, oh, no, yeah, I'll be the first one. No, we say, you know what they say in America? Well, it ain't so bad if you have plenty of it. So let's make a little bit more, which makes it a lot less. I'm sure we're going to get out of this. It's been the nature of our business. And like I said, we're fortunate that we're well established. I mean, people just getting started or that are highly leveraged, I could see that this would be detrimental.
So you've been in this business now for 20 plus years, being a dairyman here in the US. And I'm sure that teaches you to a lot of what you just shared, the roller coaster, the resilience that you've been touching on here. But I'm curious, was there ever a point in the last 20 plus years where you almost were ready to call it quits?
No, because this is the only thing I got. Quitting is not an option. There was a year, I think in '08 or '09, where I got a little, and then with COVID and all that stuff. But hey, the sun always comes up the next day, and you have to discipline yourself that your books are in order too. You have to make your averages. So you got to know what your averages are. And we always been able to make our averages just fine. And people who go overboard, yeah, I always say be careful. Buckle up. Things are going down. But if you have a good lender and if you're a good producer, you'll find a way. It's not easy. It's never meant to be easy. It's a struggle for me too. And it's always worked, but it's very rewarding and we have done well.
You've been through those cycles in 20 plus years of being a dairy farmer here in the US. And Marinus, I know your family is really important to you. Can you just take a minute and tell me a little bit about your family?
I love my family. I'm a family man. There's one thing I love about dairy farming is that we do it with our kids. Our kids are good workers. They help on the holidays and where need to be. They're involved in FFA and 4-H, and they're aggressive too. They like to place. They go for the win, I'd say. I enjoy seeing that drive in my kids. Not that mediocrity or whatever, but they really go for it.
So there's 6 of them, right?
There are 6 of them. My oldest is married. Our son-in-law, he works in the operation right now, but he is more on the farming and maintenance side and manure management. So the next generation is definitely coming up.
That's a lot of kids in a short time. Your wife must be an incredible woman. And what's her name?
Her name is Flora. She raised the kids, I must say. I mean, you see dads wearing a diaper bag and going to every appointment. That is not our relationship. My wife raised the kids, and I worked outside, and I came inside, and meals ready, and it's just enjoyable time. I feel the richest when I'm on the table with my family, and they're with their friends, and we could just share a meal and play a game. Those are moments I cherish. Being 49, you start to see that you're not going to be here forever. And I was given a chance. And if my children choose not to do that, that's okay. If there's somebody who wants to take it over, great. I hope they live a purposeful life and live it for the Lord. And that's how I should do my job, and you should your job, and all, because we can get so carried away. We want to be glorified. We want to be honored. We want to be recognized. We have that hunger, but you live your life for the Lord, and you don't need to prove yourself, or I'm not too worried about what happened. No.
As you share all this, though, Marinus, it seems to me the three keywords that I've seen on little signs, there's one that just hangs over your head and it says faith, family, and farming. And those 3 points just seem very true to who you are, what you believe in, and how you live your life, whether that's in the barn or at the kitchen table.
We're not in control of tomorrow. We don't know what tomorrow will bring, but I know who holds it, so I have faith in him, and yeah, I want to live for him.
This episode is part of the High Performance Mindset series powered by Nedap. Nedap is future-proofing dairy farming with smart technologies and activity monitoring, cow locating, milk metering, sort gates, and AI-powered camera systems. Nedap is improving life on the farm by putting the right cow in the right place at the right time, every time. Thank you for listening to the Uplevel Dairy Podcast. If you enjoyed today's conversation, make sure to follow the show, share this episode with your friends in the dairy community, and leave a review. At Uplevel Dairy, we are here to highlight the leaders, the lessons, and the real-world experiences that are shaping the future of our dairy industry. Find more by following us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram for behind-the-scenes content and upcoming guests. And subscribe at upleveldairy.com to get new episodes and our Dairy Insights blogs right in your inbox. I'm Peggy Coffeen, and until next time, keep on learning, keep on leading, and keep up-leveling your dairy.